Hi, my name is Raymond, and in this lesson we're going to talk about the fundamental accounting equation. But before we get started, I need you to do me a little favor. Okay? Can you just close your eyes for a second? Okay, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine there's sand between you and me. Okay? Now if there's sand between you and me, could you see me? No. Now keep your eyes closed. What happens if there was a glass of iced tea between you and me? Okay, you could kind of see me, right? About maybe 50, 60%. Okay? And what happens if there's a glass of water between you and me? Okay, you can see me perfectly, right? Okay, now, if you understand everything that I've said in this lesson, okay, water, if you understand maybe about 50, 60% iced tea, if you don't understand anything that I explained in this lesson, hopefully I'm not that bad, sand. So give me a shout back. I'll give you my email at the end of the lesson and let me know, okay, your level of comprehension and if you like any of my notes or any further exercises. Okay, so now let's get started on our lesson. Now the fundamental accounting equation is written basically three ways. Okay, assets equals liabilities plus capital, or capital equals assets minus liabilities, or liabilities equals assets minus capital. Well, okay, that's very interesting, right? But what are all these assets, liabilities, and capital? Well, let's get started here and look at each one of these. Okay, let's start off with assets. Assets are something you own, okay, that has a monetary value, okay? Monetary means a dollar value, okay? So assets are something you own, okay? They're yours, they belong to you, and they're worth money, okay? Now some examples of assets could be cash, could be stocks, could be equipment, could be land, could be maybe your clothes, okay, your jewelry, okay? So anything that you own, okay, that has a value, okay, a dollar value. Next, liabilities. Now, liabilities are something that you owe, okay? These are amounts of money that you owe someone else, okay? So these are amounts of money that you owe, okay? You have to pay back to someone else. Examples could be a bank loan, okay, for a car, okay? Could be a mortgage, for your house, or maybe a personal loan that you've taken out from mom and dad and you have to pay back. Now, wait a minute. Do you really have to pay mom and dad back? Well, actually, yes, you do, okay? But that's another issue, okay? And the next one is capital. Now, capital is the difference, okay? Capital is the difference between your assets and your liabilities, okay? What we mean by difference is minus, okay? Your assets minus your liabilities. And this is, your capital is how much you are actually worth, okay? Let's look at, these assets, liabilities, and capital in an example. Okay, let's just scroll up a little bit. So here, I'm going to write down my assets. Okay. Now, my wife says that I'm not going to be teaching our son how to write. I don't understand why. I think my handwriting is pretty good. Okay. So let's say I have an asset, and let's say this asset, okay, it's a house, and it's worth $100,000. Oops. Okay, and it's a house. Okay, next I have some liabilities. Okay, so I bought this house, okay, but I didn't buy it for cash. I don't have $100,000 lying around. Okay, so I have a liability. I took out a loan. So here's my liability. Okay, and I took out a loan of, let's say, $75,000. Okay, and that's a loan. Okay, so if I have a house, an asset worth $100,000, and I took out a loan for the house, I have a liability of $75,000. Well, how much am I actually worth? Okay, well, my capital, okay, how much I'm actually worth, okay, my capital, okay, is my assets minus, okay, assets minus my liabilities, okay, equals my capital. So I have 100,000 minus 75,000, so I'm actually worth 25,000. Okay, so my assets total equal 100,000 minus how much I actually owe on my assets. Okay, I owe the bank 75,000, so I'm actually worth only $25,000. Now that we understand the basics of what is an asset, liability, and capital, now we have to learn how to record these. Okay, and the fundamental way, okay, that you learn how to record an asset, liability, and capital is through debits and credits. Okay, so let's just scroll down here and give ourselves a little bit more room. Or actually, you know what? I'll just create a new sheet here. Okay, and we're going to talk about debits and credits. Okay, so let's start off with our debits. I'm going to use black here for debit. Okay, and I'll use red for credit. Let's underline that to make it look a little bit better. Okay, now all what I mean by debit, it means I'm talking about my left side. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, whenever I say the word debit, I mean left, and whenever I say the word credit, I'm talking about my right side. Okay, so in accounting, it's just a fancy way of saying left side, debit, or right side, credit. Okay, now how do we show these left side and right side? Well, we show it in what's called a T account. Okay, so let me just draw it out here. Okay, so here, and you can see it looks like a T, right? And I'll start off with my assets. Okay, and remember, debit is always left side, so I'll put a big D over here. And credit is always right side, so I'll put a C over here. Okay, and while we're just doing this, let's do our liabilities and capital and everything else too. Okay, so over here, I'll do my liabilities. Liabilities. Okay, and remember, debit, left side, and credit, right side. Okay, and of course our final one, capital. Okay, capital. Okay, and left side debits, right side credits. Okay, counting. Okay, if we want to show an increase, okay, I want to show an increase in an asset, I debit it. Okay, so if I want to show an increase in an asset, I debit it. If I want to show a decrease in an asset, I credit it. Okay, let's do an example of an asset. Okay, so let's say over here, I'll create a T account here, and we'll talk about cash. Okay, cash is always the best asset to have. Okay, and if I want to increase my cash, okay, I want to increase my cash, I would debit it. So let's say my uncle gave me $1,000. So I debit my account $1,000. Now wait a minute, okay, my uncle just gave me some cash. Okay, now I could keep the cash, or I could do something fun and actually spend it. Okay, so my debit is to increase my cash, but once I get some cash, I want to spend it, don't I? So let's say I take out, I don't know, $500, and I want to spend it on something. So to show a decrease in my assets, to show a decrease, okay, I credit it, I put it on the right side. Okay, so I want to increase an asset, I debit it. I want to decrease an asset, I credit it. Okay. Next one is liability. Okay. And let's say I have a loan here. Okay. So my car just broke down and I need a new car. So I go to the bank and say, Mr. Banker, I need a new car. So it says, okay, Ray, what kind of car would you like? I said, well, I like a Ferrari. I said, well, Ray, I don't think we can, get you a Ferrari. Okay, how about a Toyota? I said, okay, no problem. Okay, so I go out and I get a 20,000 dirham loan for a liability. Now, oops, before we go on to the loan here, okay, we have to go back here. Okay, sorry, forgot here. Okay, so for my liabilities, okay, if I want to increase a liability, okay, I want to increase that liability, I credit it. Okay, and if I want to decrease a liability, okay, I debit it. Okay, so liabilities are opposite of assets. Okay, they're opposite. If I want to increase a liability, okay, I have to credit it. I have to put it on the right-hand side. Okay, and if I want to decrease a liability, I have to put it on the left-hand side. Okay, so it's completely opposite of a asset. Okay, now let's do an example here of my liabilities. Okay, let's go back to my loan here. Okay, so I go to the bank and I ask for, let's say, a 20,000 dirham loan. Okay, a 20,000 dirham loan. Okay, so the bank gives me a 20,000 dirham loan. Okay, to buy a new car. Okay, now remember, liabilities are something that I owe. I have to pay the bank back. Okay, so let's say on June 1st, okay, I borrow 20,000 dirhams or $20,000, and I want to pay, or I have to pay it back. So let's say on July 1st, I have to pay back the bank $1,000. Okay, so every month I have to pay back the bank $1,000. Okay, so on July 1st, my liabilities, okay, I'm going to decrease my liabilities because I want to pay off my loan. So to decrease my liabilities, I debit it. I put it on the left-hand side. So I'll debit, okay, my loan, $1,000 to decrease it. Okay, so let's go back here again. Okay, to increase the liability, I credit it. To decrease the liability, I debit it. Okay, and the last one is our capital. Okay, capitals work very similar to liabilities. If I want to increase capital, I will debit it. Oops, let's go back here. I want to use and keep consistent here. I want to increase capital, I credit it. And I want to decrease capital, what did I just say? If I want to increase capital, I'll credit it. And if I want to decrease capital, I'll debit it. Okay? And let's do an equation here also. Here, my capital, or how much I am worth, okay, how much I'm worth. Okay? Let's say my capital, I am worth, I don't know, let's say $50,000. Okay, I'm worth $50,000. Okay, and at Christmas, I like to give some money to charity. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to give some money to charity. So when I give money to some charity, okay, my capital, how much I'm worth, actually goes down. So let's say I give $500 to charity. Okay, so if I give $500 to charity, my capital goes down. So to decrease my capital, I have to debit it. So I will debit my capital, $500, and my capital decreases. Okay, so if I want to increase my capital, I credit it. If I want to decrease my capital, I debit it. If I want to increase my capital, I credit it. If I want to decrease my capital, I debit it. Now, I hope that was a good introduction for you for assets, liabilities, and a very basic understanding of T accounts. Okay, if you have any questions, just give me a shout. Let me give you my email down here. I'll write it down here. Okay, it's rayomand@gmail.com. Okay, give me a shout anytime and let me know if this video helped you or if you need any more notes or exercises. And just before we go on, okay, I'll just show you some notes I have here also. Okay, so it might make it a little bit easier than seeing it in my own handwriting. Okay, so just remember, assets, I want to increase assets, I debit them. I want to decrease assets, I credit them. Liabilities are opposite to my assets. Okay, if I want to increase my assets or increase my liabilities, I credit them. If I want to decrease my liabilities, I will debit them. And same thing with capital. Okay, if I want to increase capital, I credit it. If I want to decrease capital, I debit it. Okay, So if you need any more lessons or if you want anything else, just give me a shout back at raymond@yahoo.com. Thanks.